This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 7, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, police constable's shooting death during robbery ruled justified by coroner's court. A special coroner's court has ruled that the shooting death of a police constable who meant his demise in a bar by one of his colleagues in Hopewell, Hanover, during a robbery was a lawful killing. The police constable Kmar Beckford, who was stationed in Westmoreland at the Betheltown police station at the time of his death, was shot in 2015 by retired Detective Inspector Wynne Jacobs, who was a patron at a bar at the time of the robbery. Findings of the case, which were sent to the courts in April 2022, were read by Parish Court Judge Carl Hughes during the request in Lucy on Friday morning, 7 years after the shooting made the headlines. The Independent Commission of Investigations concluded in 2015 that Jacobs should not face criminal charges. However, their recommendation at the time was for the matter to be referred to the coroner's court for a determination as to whether an inquest was necessary. Evidence at the time, Indicom said, indicated that Beckford was shot dead while committing aggravated robbery at a Lorner's Bar and Grill in the parish. Inspector Jacobs was reportedly shot 3 times during the shootout, while another patron was shot once. According to reports, shortly after 1 a.m. on April 2, 2015, Beckford, who was wearing a mask, entered the bar in Hopewell with a gun in hand and began robbing patrons. He was challenged by the off-duty policeman, who returned the fire. Beckford died on the spot. The police constable was fingered in several robberies in the parishes of Hanover and St. Elizabeth, where he resided. At the time of his death, an eyewitness told the news that had the detective inspector not challenged Beckford, it would have been a case of mass murder inside the bar. Once the shooting started, it was like going through a minefield, said the man who escaped unharmed. Elated that he has been exonerated, Jacobs told the news on Friday that he knew he had done nothing wrong. "I was just protecting myself and the persons who were in the bar," said Jacobs. Some 6 persons were in the bar during the incident. He said the police department investigated the incident and he was vindicated then, but it was the norm for it to go to the coroner's court. The former inspector was represented by Montego Bay attorney-at-law Henry McCurdy, who said justice has been served and his client is now able to move on with his life. He has always stressed his innocence and that his actions were lawful, said McCurdy shortly after leaving court on Friday. Chief Justice urges judges to remain vigilant and not give in to undue pressure. Chief Justice Brent Sykes has urged the judges to remain vigilant and resolute during criminal trials despite a public backlash against some of their findings. Chief Justice Sykes observed on Friday that the courts have become more transparent and more opinions are being expressed in the public domain about their work, so judges should continue to follow the law. According to Chief Justice Sykes, in a high-crime environment such as Jamaica's, the expectations of the judiciary are high and sometimes unrealistic.
A criminal trial is conducted according to the rules of evidence, procedure, and the determination is to find out whether the person is guilty of the crime with which he or she is charged, not whether the person is a criminal in general. A trial is not a commission of inquiry. It is a very specific process to determine whether the prosecution have proved the case against the defendant. It is not about the defendant proving his innocence. So that is why at the end of a trial, if the evidence is not there, the judge simply says, or the jury says, not guilty. Of course, persons will disagree with what we do, and it is their right to do so. It's a democratic society. But one trait and quality that you must have is courage. Courage to decide cases against popular sentiment. And in a high crime environment, understandably, there's an expectation that criminals, if you call them criminals, will be caught, tried, convicted, and punished severely. However, it is the criminal law that determines whether a crime has been committed. and it is a court which determines whether the person should be branded as a criminal at the end of the trial process, and assuming that there is a conviction. Ongoing judicial education is not just desirable but necessary. The time is fast approaching, and some would say has come, when one of the criteria for being selected as a judge is a proven record of commitment to ongoing legal education. The business of adjudicating rights and liabilities of persons is far too important to be left to the hoped-for industriousness of the particular judge. So if attorneys are required to upgrade their knowledge and skills by ongoing education, should not the same be required of judges, having regard to what we actually do?
Mackenzie addresses St. Thomas Municipality land deal. Minister of Local Government Desmond Mackenzie says no land transaction can be effected by any local authority without the express permission of the central government. The declaration came amid commercial land arrangements involving the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation concerning land on which the former Yallah's Market was located. In a statement today, Mackenzie said any such prospective arrangement that may involve a local authority must be submitted to the Ministry for consideration. The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development has a land divestment committee that receives and reviews all such matters and makes recommendations to me as the responsible minister for approval. In particular circumstances, the issues involved may well require the permission of the Cabinet. No municipal corporation in St. Thomas or anywhere in the country can engage in any leaseholding, rental, land acquisition, sale or related arrangement without obtaining official consent, Mackenzie declared. In the particular circumstances reported concerning land on which the former Yallah's Market was located, I am aware that the lease in question has expired. Therefore, no consideration of renewal can take place without invoking the process I have outlined, he added. Mackenzie sought to assure that his ministry is monitoring the situation and will continue to observe all the laws and the policies that exist to preserve the financial integrity of the local government system. Policeman found dead in his car in St. Anne. A policeman was found dead inside his car along the main road in Exchange, St. Anne last night. He is Detective Sergeant Lloyd Kelly, who was stationed at the Runaway Bay Police Station and who lived in Bonham Heights in Exchange. The police say about 8:40 p.m., Kelly's BMW motorcar was seen parked along the roadway with the emergency four-way lights on. Upon inquiries, he was seen in the driver's seat and appeared to be unresponsive. The police were called to the scene. They say a medical team from Crooks Criticare was called in and who performed the CPR on Kelly. However, no signs of life emerged. He was subsequently taken to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital by the medical team, where he was pronounced dead. The police say no foul play is suspected. His licensed firearm was retrieved and is currently in the custody of the police. His death has left his colleagues in St. Anne and the wider Jamaica Constabulary Force in mourning. Traffic changes for Port Henderson Road in Portmore due to leak repair. The National Water Commission is advising motorists of traffic changes along a section of the Port Henderson Main Road in Portmore, St. Catherine, as it moves to undertake leak repair works. The repair work, which will be conducted along the eastbound lane, will commence from 9 p.m. on Monday, January 9 to 4 a.m. on Tuesday, January 10. This work will not affect regular water supply for customers. However, motorists traveling from Nagahead will be required to utilize the westbound side of the roadway, which will become a dual carriageway during the work period. Where possible, motorists are encouraged to use alternate routes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.